What if I told you the Upside Down isn't actually a parallel dimension? What if I told you, it's actually Eleven's mind, twisted and made real? Let's think about it. Time is frozen the exact day she opened the gate, the monsters are her fears, and Vecna didn't just invade, it's her trauma given a face. If that's the case, the big fight in Stranger Things Season 5 isn't about killing monsters, it's about Eleven facing her own demons. For years, Stranger Things has teased us with glimpses of the Upside Down, its eerie stillness, its decaying vines, its monsters lurking in the shadows, but what if everything we thought we knew about Stranger Things was totally off? What if this other dimension isn't even a world, but something way more personal and terrifying? Imagine if the Upside Down wasn't a twisted copy of Hawkins that happened by accident, but a living thing made of someone's worst pain, fears, and trauma. Suddenly, everything clicks, the clock frozen on the night Will went missing, the never-ending darkness that feels alive, and how the monsters seem to go after Eleven's friends. Think about the strange details the show has quietly left behind, breadcrumbs scattered across every season. Why is the Upside Down stuck in 1983, like time just froze when Will disappeared? And why does the Demogorgon seem to have a mind link with Eleven, almost as if it were born from her imagination? Plus, no matter how many times they shut the gates, the Upside Down always comes back to her, like it needs her to exist. Even Vecna's rise feels suspicious. He didn't discover a world waiting for him, he just kinda joined one that was perfect for his evil. These aren't random coincidences. They feel intentional, like the Upside Down isn't just connected to Eleven, it's built around her. When you start connecting those dots, the Upside Down shifts from being just a creepy alternate dimension into something far more unsettling, something created. Think about it, Eleven's powers came from all the trauma, being alone, and those awful experiments with Brenner. She was trained to use her mind as a weapon, to go past what anyone else could handle, and in all that fear and pain, she opened the first gate. But what if she didn't just find the Upside Down? What if she actually created it in that moment, like her subconscious just exploded into reality? That would explain why the world is stuck in the shadow of her worst memories, why the monsters are so basic and scared, and why it all seems connected to how she feels. The Upside Down isn't some alien world, it's a reflection of Eleven's mind, where her guilt, anger, and worst memories have become a real-life nightmare. And if that's true, it changes everything about Hawkins, Vecna, and the fight that's coming up in Season 5. If the Upside Down is really from Eleven's subconscious, then the final fight isn't just about brute force, like throwing fireballs of psychic energy at Vecna until one of them collapses. It means the real fight will be in Eleven's mind, in the darkness she accidentally made. Hawkins could get wrecked, gates could open, and monsters could take over, but the only way to stop it is for Eleven to face her own demons, the guilt of opening the gate, the anger toward Brenner, the fear of losing her friends, and the sadness that so many people have died because of her. Vecna, ever the manipulator, would exploit this mercilessly, twisting her memories, weaponizing her trauma, and convincing her that destroying herself is the only way to stop him. The real fight isn't just Eleven against Vecna, it's Eleven against herself, and whether Hawkins survives depends on if she can accept that her past doesn't control her future. For the first time in Stranger Things, brute strength won't be enough. To win, she would have to forgive herself, undo what she made, and maybe sacrifice a piece of her identity forever to erase the Upside Down once and for all. If Eleven has to face the Upside Down inside herself, it won't just be a personal battle, it will ripple through every relationship she's ever had. Mike, who's always been there for her, might realize he can't save her from this internal war. Will, who's been through the Upside Down before, will probably feel a mix of sympathy and fear, knowing his friend is now the danger. And Hopper, like a dad to her, will struggle because he wants to protect her, but she has to do this alone, even with her loved ones around. Even the rest of the Hawkins crew might have to make some tough calls, trying to help Eleven without getting caught up in the danger she's facing. Every time they're together, every time they trust each other, it's like there's a ton of pressure because they know Hawkins, and maybe even everything, depends on 11 facing her past. It's not just about fighting monsters or closing portals anymore, it's about love, loyalty, and sacrifice intertwined with trauma, making every relationship more fragile and every win that much harder. Imagine Hawkins engulfed in chaos, the sky bleeding unnatural colors as gates flare open and creatures swarm the streets, but the true battlefield exists in the shadowy corridors of Eleven's mind, like a scary version of her own fears. Everyone she's ever trusted could show up all twisted, like fake versions from her memories, making her wonder what's real and what's not. Each step she takes carries the weight of the lives depending on her courage, and each decision risks not only the fate of Hawkins, but the very survival of those she loves. The finale could push her to make unimaginable sacrifices, give up her powers, face her worst guilt, or even change who she is to get rid of the Upside Down. And when it's all over, we might be left wondering, can 11 really deal with what she did, or will her scary thoughts always be there, always threatening to return? The stakes are no longer just supernatural, they are intensely human, emotional, and devastatingly personal, promising a conclusion that is as thrilling and terrifying as it is heartbreakingly inevitable. When you put it all together, it's like, you can't ignore what it means. The Upside Down might not be some far-off place, it could be a reflection of 11, a symbol of all her fears, bad experiences, and the decisions that made her who she is. That changes everything we thought we knew about Hawkins, Vecna, and the final fight. It makes the monsters into symbols, the gates into ways to face yourself, and the big showdown into a super-personal journey about facing things, being brave, and making sacrifices. And even though we'll be watching for explosions and psychic fights and scary monsters, the real question is if 11 can face the darkness inside her, and make it through without losing what makes her, her. By the end, we might see that Hawkins' future, the Upside Down's future, and 11's future are all connected, and that the scariest monster she's ever faced has actually been inside her this entire time. If the Upside Down is really a reflection of 11's mind, and the monsters are born from her fears, do you think 11 will be able to survive her own creation? Let me know what you think in the comments. If you enjoyed this 11-centered theory, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, Strangers Freaks, and stay tuned for more Stranger Things theories that will blow your mind.